So we have four core products. So REST, FileSmart, Real Benchmark, and Strata Master. So the idea is, as everybody is going towards cloud-based programs and they want more flexibility within their offices, Property Tree was created to
Yep.
have the functionality of both REST and FileSmart within the same system. So instead of having to use two separate subscriptions, everything would be within one. And because we have the 38
Okay.
years of background within the industry, we have the knowledge with which to make it a lot more efficient. So rather than copy and pasting what we had, we created it to be a bit more automatic, a bit more efficient,
Mhm.
and then we put it online. So that's the background behind why we created Property Tree. Now, the other part of it
Is
is
Property Tree considered? Yep.
go for it, go for it.
Just wondering, is Property Tree considered a CRM?
No, Property Tree is considered trust
Customer
accounting
relate.
software.
It's what? Sorry.
It's not a CRM. It's primarily trust accounting software. It does have some functionality from a CRM, but it is not a CRM.
Okay. What would you describe it as then?
Um, Property management and trust accounting solution.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. But do you think people who are looking for a CRM would find this? I have to check the keywords, but I'm thinking that some people who are looking for CRM might want up on this as well. And I thought this was a CRM before, so
No.
that's
So
why I categorized it as
Property Tree
CRM.
does it as sales trust accounting, but it does not function as a fully fledged CRM.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
programs like My Desktop, Box and Dice, Agent Box, those are CRMs. This is purely the trust
Mhm.
accounting side of things.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So the secondary reason why we created
All right.
Property Tree is, especially today, the bigger your agency gets, the more likely it is that you're going to use multiple systems. So you'll end up using something for your inspections, for your property management, for your maintenance, for your CRM, for everything. And there's no single system as of yet on the market that is able to bring all of that data into one place so that you can access it from one place. So Property Tree was built
Mhm,
in the way that it has an open integration in the back. So we can integrate whatever
mhm,
other programs we need into it. So we already have the integrations for inspections, maintenance is coming, CRMs are coming, utility providers are coming, so that when you log into Property Tree, you get a single view of the
mhm,
customer. That makes sense?
mhm. Yep. I just double checking. Is it recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Okay,
right.
go on.
So I'll go ahead and get started. I'll just walk you through Property Tree as I go along. Just let me know if you have any questions. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right. So this is the dashboard. This is the first page that you see whenever you log into Property Tree. It's meant to give any
Mhm,
business a quick high-level overview of the business just at a glance. So on the left-hand side, when they log in, they can see their monthly progress, gained and lost
mhm,
management, net figure at the end. Below that, tenancies
mhm,
and rent arrears, vacant properties, tenancies vacating, and your maintenance jobs as well. Now, especially with
mhm,
agencies that have more than 200 properties, they function in separate portfolios. So whenever you click on any
mhm,
one of these hyperlinks, it will go directly to your portfolio and show you what's applicable to you. So with this, you can also see everybody else's portfolio and pick up their work if they're on holiday. Or as a manager, you can pull up reports for
mhm,
each different portfolio if you would like. Okay.
mhm.
Now, any one of these
Oh,
reports, go ahead.
mhm.
Go ahead.
Oh, the user interface that I'm seeing now is completely different from the one I saw before.
Yes, it has been upgraded since then, and it's likely to be upgraded in the next 8 months as well.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay. It looks a
Um,
bit like WordPress actually.
say that again?
It looks a bit like WordPress. The
Yes,
content management system for websites. It
yes.
looks like WordPress because the left hand sidebar looks like a menu bar, and over
Mhm.
here is all the visual stuff.
Correct.
It really has a WordPress like feel,
Okay,
and a lot of people like WordPress. WordPress is the most popular CMS in the world.
that's good. That's good. All right. So, I mean, the this is how we built it initially, but not initially. This is how we upgraded it today. As we go forward, we're trying to build it so that it's a lot more user friendly, so that you can edit or configure the dashboard as you like it. Because of course, some agencies, they only deal with property management, they don't deal with sales, or the other way around. So they only want to see certain information. So that's what we're working on going forward as well. Now, any of the reports that you pull up from the quick links here, you can export to PDF or CSV if you would like. So you can get a hard copy of these if you need to. In the center of the screen, you have a 6-month overview, which just shows you over the past couple months, how has your business been going? Have you been gaining managements? Have you been losing them steadily? Essentially how that is. Top of the screen, you have the name of your company, and next to that is a rental calculator. So the good thing about this is if you're a receptionist or anybody speaking to a potential tenant, they can pull this up and say, hey, this is the rent per day or per week or per month, and this is how it breaks down for you per year and per month. So that way the tenant has an idea of what they're signing up for, and you're able to better show them as well. For those people that are doing less than a year contracts, they can use the flexible dates and pull this up for 6-month, 8-month contracts if they need to. Just next to that is the notes and alerts. So within Property Tree, there's also the reminders. So again, to make this quite similar to like a business diary for you, this will show up to show you whatever tasks or reminders you have to do today, tomorrow, whatever's in the next couple of days, and whatever's overdue as well.
Does the notes and alerts sync to Outlook or Gmail or anything like that, or is just native to the Property Tree system and it can only be looked at and modified from the Property Tree system?
It's native to Property Tree, and so it's only within the system. Now, the reason for that is a lot of people are trying to move away from Outlook and Gmail and such, and they're trying to have everything within the one system if they can, with regards to property management. So this gives them that ability to log into this one system and see all their reminders, all of the messages, all of everything, basically. Okay, so they can create whatever categories they want, and that way they can filter these reminders if they only want to see lease renewals that are coming and so on. And they can also switch to other people's portfolios. Now, again, the good thing about this is you can also pull this out as a PDF or CSV. That way, as a manager, if you wish to have a word with one of your staff about a list of overdue tasks, you can pull it up and show them. Now, within Property Tree, there is a messaging inbox, and this links to the owner and tenant portal. So Property Tree gives you the ability to share access to your owners and your tenants so they can view the pertinent information for them. So instead of them calling you every few days to try and get this report or that report, they can access everything at a touch of a button. Now, the additional benefit of that is you can also message back and forth between Property Tree and the portal. So that way, if you ever have to go for a tribunal, you can pull up a single report that has both sides of the communication, black and white, in that one tribunal report, because you're using the messaging center.
I remember in the older version of Property Tree that I looked at, I think the tribunal report is a very important part of it because you had something to make it a lot easier to bring your cases to court.
Yes.
And I presume that's the tribunal report.
Yes.
How has that changed? Because I don't know, I can't remember how it looks like before because I haven't looked. But
so what I can do
is
I
can
send you a copy of what the tribunal report looks like, and that way you have a copy on hand if you would like.
Okay.
So the way that it's is that because of the portal access and because of the messaging back and forth from Property Tree to the portal, all of that conversation is there. That way all the maintenance notes are there, all of the communications are there in black and white. There's no chance of the tenant saying, hey, we never said that, because it's there black and white. Also, the fact is you don't have to go digging in your Outlook or Gmail to find all the communications. It's all in one place.
That's very good. I think that was one of the key features that I really liked about Property Tree, because if you have to take time to court, it's very messy.
Yes.
And this tribunal report feature is making it a lot easier for you to do what you need to do.
Correct. And because of the fact that that it was created by Rockend, because of the fact that we have so many years of experience in the industry, auditors and courts generally tend to take that tribunal report a lot more seriously because it has the information that they need. Okay.
Yeah.
So just quickly, I'll show you what the owner and tenant portal look like. So whenever an owner logs in, they're able to see how many properties they have and the different statuses of those properties. So they can switch between individual properties if they want to view them. They can see if the rent is up to date. they can see the lease details, and they can send a message through to the property manager. So especially in today's day and age, a lot of owners and tenants want a lot more transparency than what it was back then. So they want to be able to see these things. They want to know that their property is being managed properly. So on the right-hand side is an income and expenditure graph, which means that they can pull up income and expenditure reports for any given time period should they like. In the drop-down menu, your owners have access to your ownership ledger, reports and statements, rent history, and any maintenance requests that are open on their property. So this is full transparency with everything that they need to see. Okay. Now, usually your owners do not see the tenant side of things. It's only available here because I'm listed as both owner and tenant. Now, if, for example, your owner has properties with you and they would like separate statements for each one, which means that within Property Tree, you would create different owner cards. They can all log into the same one portal to view all of the properties in one place. So there's no issue with that. So just over to the tenant side of things. So when the tenant logs in, they can see when their inspection is due. They can see if their rent is up to date. If it is not up to date, it'll show up in bright red for them and show them how much. It shows them when they have to pay the rent, how much they have to pay, and also their bond details. They can choose to send a message through to the property manager from here. And in the drop-down menu, they have access to their ledger, their receipts and invoices, and they can also lodge maintenance directly from here. So again, generally in property management, your tenants tend to call up for every little thing, asking for receipts, invoices, or hey, there's an issue with the house, we need this help. So it's usually quite difficult to understand because of the difference in how people explain it. So instead of having that issue, people can log into the tenant portal, go to the maintenance requests, click on the actions, and just create a maintenance request directly from here. That allows them to put in whatever details they would like, take whatever pictures, put in whatever documents, and just click submit. And this will submit that maintenance request directly through the Property Tree. That make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just trying to make things a lot easier and a lot smoother, and prevent the delay that usually happens when there's a call and when people can't get through and so on and so forth. Okay.
Yeah.
So with any previous jobs, your tenant is able to see if it's in progress, if it's completed, basically the status of it as they need to as well. So just back to Property Tree, I'll refresh the page. Now, usually within about a minute or two, that maintenance request will come through. But because I refreshed it, it'll come through right now. So as you can see, there's a new notification in the messaging inbox up top. So when I click on this, it'll show again my portfolio and that there's a new maintenance request from that particular property. So it's already come through. So I can click on this. I can view the history of my communication with that particular tenant, so I can see if this request has come through before and if somebody has dealt with it, or if there's any other messages with relation to it as well. I can see the details that they've sent through, and I can also choose to reply if I would like. Now, whenever you're sending a message to the owner or tenant portal, it will also send them a notification email so that they're aware of the fact that they have a new message in the portal. Now,
so that's good because your
go ahead.
your messaging system is native to Property Tree, but because you have email notifications, there's no way they're gonna forget or not realize they've got a new message, right?
Correct. Exactly. So if this is enough information for you and you'd like to continue with the work or the maintenance job, you can click on the click here, and this will open up the maintenance workflow page of Property Tree. Now, this page is built to be standalone, so every bit of information that you need is already here. So your authorized expenditure limit, hyperlinks to the property and the owner if you'd like to go there and access them. Top right, there's also a request approval. So again, especially nowadays, property managers are stuck in the office doing a lot of admin work. Part of the benefit of Property Tree is to automate a lot of this admin work so that they can do this from the car or from wherever they are without having to sit in the office the entire time. So there's already a mail merge template in place. If they would like, they can click on the request for approval, and then they can just click send. Okay. So you can send a copy to yourself.
So you have a lot of email templates that you can set up in Property Tree then.
Correct. So it basically just gives you the ability to automatically just send it out instead of typing it up time and time again. Okay. The other good thing about the system is you can add as many different creditors to the system as you'd like, but Taking it a bit of a
Yeah.
step further, so most often than not, your owner will say, I only want these particular people working on my property. Or if you're a larger agency and you manage properties in many different suburbs, you know that these particular tradies or creditors are closer to the suburb than anybody else. So no matter who logs into the maintenance job and clicks on find creditors and search, it'll show you that these are the authorized creditors and nobody else. So there's no confusion. So this makes sure that if the owner has said, I only want these people, nobody makes a mistake and clicks on somebody else. Now, additionally, if you are required to send out quotes, you can select multiple people if you would like. You can select as many as you'd like, and you can send out quotes to them. Or if you're only sending out the work order, you can just select one if you'd like to do that. So it'll open up the different creditors down at the bottom. And as you can see, if the number is entered correctly, from your phone, you can click on this and you can call them directly if you would like as well. Now, again, if you're just sending out the work order, you can send it from here, or you can send out the quote request. Now, this will send out individual quote requests to each and every one of them. So click on send, and it'll open up the mail merge template. Now, as you can see, there are 3 different creditors here, and I can just link the attachment that tenant sent through. So if they sent through photos or insurance documents, you can link them, and then you can click send. So it's just 2 clicks, and you quickly send these out. There's no time copying and pasting the message for each different one, and so on and so forth. So once the quote's been requested, you can attach the quote here once it's come back, and you can request approval from the owner for that particular quote if you would like to as well. So again, in the interest of more transparency, you have the ability to just share that as well. But if that's not the case, if you want to go straight ahead and send out the work order because one is clearly cheaper than the rest, you can go ahead and send the work order. Now, the good thing about Property Tree is whenever you send out the work order, it will also automatically send out a cancellation notice to anybody else you requested a quote from. So again, instead of you having to remember, go back and send them cancellations, it'll do that automatically for you. So all I have to do is just click send. It'll send out that work order and the cancellation notices as well. Now, last but not least, as soon as the work order is sent, they finish the job, they'll obviously send you the invoice. So there are 2 different ways of managing invoices within the system. Now, the way that we recommend is what we call Invoice Genius. Have you heard anything about it?
No.
No. Okay, so Invoice Genius is essentially a bulk invoice processing module of Property Tree. There's no additional charge or anything like that. It's part of the system. So what it allows you to do is to drag and drop up to 100 invoices at a time into that system, into Invoice Genius. Anything with a QR code or a barcode, which is most people's council rates, water rates, strata levies, and so on, will automatically fill in the details for you. Those QR codes and barcodes usually have the usage, usually have who's the creditor, who's the property, who's the owner. So it'll automatically pre-fill that data for you, reading off of that barcode or QR code. Now,
That is very, very good.
Yes, it's a lot more efficient. So it essentially takes you 20 minutes or so to process 100 invoices. And especially in today's day, everybody has 600 properties, 800 properties that they're managing. That'll save a lot of time out of your weeks, basically. Now, when it comes to creditor invoices or tradie invoices, usually those don't have a QR code or barcode. So for those ones, all you have to do is select from the menu which owner, property, and tenant, and which amount, and click OK. So I'll show you Invoice Genius in a little while. I just wanted to explain that while I'm here. The second way that you can process invoices is directly from the maintenance job if you would like. So the good thing about Property Tree is whenever you drag and drop an invoice into the system, it will automatically attach to the ownership statement. Now, owners especially, they want to know exactly what work has been done on their property, what they've been spending, and they want the invoice for it in case they have an issue with it in the future. So this saves the manual process of having to send out the invoices manually. It will automatically attach them to the ownership statement every time you drag and drop them into the system. Okay, so I'll go through the process from here just to show you. So if you're doing it directly from the maintenance, you just put in the details of what happened. If you're paying them by BPay, then it'll be a BPay reference. Otherwise, if you're paying by direct transfer, it'll just be the invoice reference number. You can change the due date if you'd like. You can change the account if you need to, and then you can just put in the amount. Now, as you can see here, attachments will be emailed with the ownership statement and any linked tenancy invoice. Okay. You can link this as a priority invoice, meaning that it'll be paid first and foremost if you need to. And then lastly, you just click create invoice. Now this will finish the maintenance job, queue up the invoice for dispersal, and attach it to the ownership statement. So all done there. Now on the right side of the screen of the dashboard, you have your common tasks. So Property Tree is currently the only cloud-based system that allows you to have multiple trust accounts within the one system. Now, especially if you're a larger agency, you know that having a separate trust account for your sales and for your commercial will allow you to keep the books a lot cleaner and a lot easier than if you had one trust account for everything. So that is one of the benefits of Property Tree. So on the right-hand side, the top 4 common tasks are for property management and the bottom 4 are for sales. So if you need to find a particular profile, create a tenancy receipts if somebody's walked in and paid cash or check, enter your creditor invoices, or do your bank reconciliation. Most offices do a bank reconciliation on a daily basis because it ends up making their end of month a lot easier for them. Sales side, they
So this can do that.
excuse me?
Is the bank reconciliation automatic or manual?
We have an automatic way of doing it, and then of course there's manual. It's up to you which one you want to do. So have you used Xero in the past?
Yes, I have used Xero in the
So you
past.
know the auto reconciliation within Xero?
I can't remember because it's been a while since I used it,
That's
but
okay, no worries. So essentially what
I know
happens
there's such a thing.
is Property Tree assigns a reference number to each of your tenants, creditors, and owners. And what Property Tree will
Yeah.
do is if you're using the auto reconciliation, it will reach through to your bank feed every morning and bring every single transaction back to Property Tree for 12 cents a transaction. Now, that means your disbursements, your checks whenever they've been processed, your receipts of direct transfers into the account, everything will be brought back to Property Tree and automatically reconciled. As long as that.
So yes,
Mhm.
so you're saying that there's zero integration for Property Tree. Is that what you're saying?
There is a Xero integration that's
I don't-
separate, but the auto reconciliation is not with Xero, it's with a different provider. So if you're using
Oh,
Xero for your general accounting, it can export data from Property Tree to Xero to conduct your general accounting. The auto reconciliation is separate.
okay.
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 So basically,
Yeah.
as long as the reference number is correct, it'll automatically receipt and reconcile all of those transactions. If it is incorrect, it will ask you what you would like to do with those particular items. Okay.
Yeah.
So sales side of things, they can find the sales profile, add in the vendor, create the buyer receipts, and pay out the agency. Now, the good thing to remember about Property Tree is every time you create tenancy invoice or receipt or a vendor or buyer receipt, it will automatically send out a copy to the relevant people as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So especially today, people will call and say, hey, can I get my receipt or my invoice for this particular item? Property Tree will automatically send those out for you. Now, down at the bottom of the page, you have your sales overview. So this shows you how many sales agreements you have ending this week and next week, and if you have any maintenance job open on those properties. As I mentioned, you can have multiple trust accounts within the single subscription of Property Tree. Okay. Top of the page is a smart search toolbar. So you can search for people by their phone numbers. You can search for them by their email addresses, by their actual property address, by their name, whatever it is you would like, you can search for them by that. So similar, kind of like a Google for Property Tree.
Yeah.
So just over to the management page. Now, this is pretty much the day-to-day activities for any property manager out there. So on this page, it's set out in a very systematic way. So top left-hand corner is where you add new people to the business. So new owners, properties, tenants, and creditors. After you've added those people, you then add the transactions for them. So receipts, bank deposits, creditor invoices, and tenancy invoices. After you've added the transactions, obviously you have to do your disbursements. So paying your tradies and creditors and paying your owners. And then lastly, of course, accessing your ledgers and reports. So this page is built in the flow of information as it comes into the business. So especially with adding in profiles, so when you're adding in owner, property, and tenant, it takes for anywhere between 3 to 6 minutes. So it's a very quick process, and it does not take that much time. Now, if you're going to go for paying your creditors, now depending on where you're located within Australia or New Zealand, you pay them out at different times. So I know that for Victoria, you pay them out on a daily basis. For Queensland and New South Wales, you pay them out maybe once every week or once every fortnight, and other states are very different. So Property Tree gives you the flexibility and the freedom of choosing when you would like to do that. So you can click on the Pay Creditor, select the trust account if you have multiple trusts, and just click Next. Now this will show you if you have any ownerships that have insufficient funds to pay the invoices. So it comes up in the Insufficient Funds tab. Now with this, you can choose to deselect any particular invoices if the job hasn't been done correctly and you don't want to pay them at this time. If you click over the sufficient funds, it'll show you, hey, this one has sufficient funds within the ownership to pay this invoice. You click Next, it'll generate the ABA file and the BPay file for you to upload to the bank, depending on how you need it. Additionally, it will also send out creditor statements to the creditors so that they're aware of exactly what they're being paid for. Because you may be using that creditor for more than one job. So they want to know exactly which one they're being paid for.
Yeah.
All okay so far?
Yeah.
Cool. So just back to the management's page. So for your pay ownership. So again, different states do it differently. I know, again, New South Wales does it at least once a week. Sorry, at least once every fortnight, if not once a week. Victoria, again, does it twice a week or thrice a week or every day. So whenever you're doing your pay ownership, you can do payments and statements or payments. So what that means is as soon as you process the payment file, it will automatically send out all of the relevant ownership statements with invoices attached. So again, removing that manual process from your business, it'll automatically send them out for you. Now, depending on your owners, some of them may want to be paid at the end of the month or middle of the month. You can create groups and tags. So what this means is you can select a particular tag and click search, and it'll only bring up those particular owners. If you didn't select that tag and you just click search, it'll bring up a much larger list, which means you have to filter through them to find. So you have the ability of filtering it however you like. And also, as you can see, it automatically deducts the fees and any outstanding invoices. So what this means is this is the accurate amount. You don't have to worry, okay, I've paid my owner. I'm worried that I won't be able to pay my creditors. It doesn't matter because it's already deducted the outstanding invoices. Now, you can preview the statements from this page if you would like, and then you can go to the next ownership statement and continue if you'd like. So it just gives you the ability to make sure everything is correct and as per what you would like. If you do not want to pay a particular person at this time, you can choose to deselect them if you need to. And you can also export this to PDF or CSV if you want a hard copy. Now, all you have to do is just click on Process Payments and Statements. This will automatically generate the statements and send them out with all the invoices and generate the ABA file to upload to the bank. So it's a very simple process, very streamlined. Previously, if you wanted to do pay ownership and such, it would take you quite a lot of steps and you'd have to manually send out the ownership statements. Now, lastly, you have your ledgers and reports down at the bottom. So this is your normal ledgers and reports for any real estate agency. The quick links are like mini reports that you can pull up. Now, you remember I mentioned groups and tags for your owners? You can do a similar thing for any of these quick links as well. So, for instance, if you have properties that are in particular suburbs or particular property types, so you can create a group and say property type, and then you can filter by that. So, for example, if you want to go into tenancies and rent-a-rear, and you want to filter, I can filter with those for pools, those with a security code, those with a weekly cleaner. I can filter for those that are townhouses, landed properties, apartments, and I can filter the reports that way if I would like. And that way, whatever report comes up, I have exactly the information that I would like. And as I mentioned, you can export these to PDF and CSV if you'd like. Now, this is applicable.
Can you just point to the, go back?
Yep.
Go back. Just open up the options where you get the export to CSV and stuff.
Okay.
I just want to see what they are, what's there. So, it's not just CSV, it's PDF as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's fine.
These ones essentially give you the ability to filter what information comes out in the report, in case you don't want all of it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You can continue.
Okay, cool. So that's applicable for any of these reports down here as well. All of them have that. We also have a map and journey planner. So any property that's entered into the system will automatically be put onto Google Maps. So for instance, if you have a set of inspections on a certain day, you can click on the map and journey planner and you can select the properties and it'll plan the journey for you using Google Maps. So it makes things a lot easier for you as well.
This one, is it an app for Property Tree now, or is it just a website cloud-based thing?
Currently, it's just a website cloud-based. The reason that there's no app is because we are building out the app to have a lot more functionality. So say, for instance, somebody
Mhm.
calls your phone, the app will enable you to be able to, it'll query the contacts within Property Tree automatically, and then it'll pull up the contact from there.
Mhm.
So instead of you having to save
But
1,001 contacts on your phone, you'll just have access to Property Tree, and it'll pull up that particular person and which property it is, so you'll easily be able to identify who it is that's calling you. That's
but I
just for
imagine that
example.
building an app like that must be quite difficult and time consuming because this cloud software is very complex.
Mm,
I think
yes.
you take a long time to map it out to an app, whether it's Android or Apple.
So it's scheduled to be released in the upcoming 3 months. So they've already started mapping
Oh,
it and
is
they've
that
already started
quite
creating
quick?
it. Because we have, I
Yeah.
mean, here's the thing. Rockend is a company that has about 250 employees. So we have a large
Uh-huh.
development team and we have a large support team as well.
Mhm.
So that way we can make changes and make sure they're correct and scalable instead of just, making a quick fix for it and then finding out it's not scalable later on. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah. So additionally, from the system, you can also mail merge. So what this means is you can send out emails to all of your owners or all of your tenants or everybody within the system or just certain groups. So again, instead of having to retype them, if you want to send out a newsletter or send them a notification saying, hey, we're closed for these dates for public holiday, you can do so from here as well. For most of the states within Australia and New Zealand, we have integrations for REI forms, which is the
what's the
legislatively,
REI?
REI is the legislative board for each different state, and they ensure that their
Oh,
forms
is it
are
like
legislatively
Rewa,
clean.
Revi?
Yes, correct, correct.
Is it like Reva, Revi, Ray, Essay, or whatever like
Yes,
that?
yes,
Is
correct.
that what it is? Is
That's
it
exactly it.
REI?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this has an integration for REI forms, meaning that you can generate REI forms from Property Tree and automatically populate the tenant and property details into that particular form, just to make it easier for
Okay.
you.
That's very good.
Additionally, you do also have a smoke alarm and key register within the system. So usually each property has about 2 to 3 different keys registered to it. You can register all of them and you can keep
Yeah.
track of where you've given them out, basically. So any
Oh,
questions about the management's page?
no, not really. I don't know. I'm not a property manager
That's
and
okay, that's okay.
I
Does it
don't have
make sense
manage
to
my
you
own
though?
properties either, so I can't really think of anything to ask.
Okay.
But it looks very good.
Does it make
Yeah,
sense to you though?
yes, it does.
Okay, cool. That's good. So we're trying to make this as user-friendly as possible. So even if you have no background in property management, you could potentially start your own agency, open up Property Tree, and just start using it because of that.
Hmm.
And this is where Invoice Genius is located. So as I mentioned, Invoice
Oh, I
Genius
see.
allows you to bulk process your invoices. I'll send you a video that we
Yeah.
have so that you can have a look at that as well. And that one you can post if you need to as well.
Uh, does Rockend have a YouTube channel? Because I might borrow some videos from your YouTube channel and just put
Sure.
it in the post that make it very attractive. Because if you just keep showing slideshows like that, it's good because they get to see what's going on. But if you add a video here and there,
Yep.
it'd be very good.
Okay.
And that's what I plan to do later
I
on.
believe we do have a YouTube channel for Rockend and a separate one for Property Tree. I'll send you over the links a bit later if that's okay.
That's better. That's
Cool.
good.
All right. So just quickly, I'll go over the sales side of things. So for a lot of agencies, either they're sales only or they do have a smaller sales arm that they do have. So again, it's built out in the same way as a management page. So adding new profiles to the system,
Yeah.
creating the transactions for them, and then accessing your sales ledger and your marketing and sundries ledger. So one of the good things about Property Tree is there's no additional charge for sales properties. Understanding that sales properties stay in your system for about 6 months to a year at max, you're able to have unlimited sales properties within the system. The only charge is for the rental properties you have within the system. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, again, you
Mm-hmm.
have your quick links and your normal ledgers and reports.
Mm-hmm.
So just over to your trust and reports. So for a lot of agencies, especially those who are using the server-based products, so REST, Console, RP Office, stuff like that, their end of month
Mm-hmm.
process takes anywhere from 1 hour to 6 or 7 hours because of the fact that the system has to process all of those things. With Property Tree,
Mm-hmm.
the entire process from start to finish, so pay owner, pay creditor, pay agency, bank rec, close the period, takes anywhere between 8 to 15 minutes. So it's a much quicker process. So as I mentioned, bank reconciliation you can do on a daily basis, pay agency, pretty simple, and then close period. So most offices, they close either at the end of the month or they do mid-month and end of month. So all they have to do is click on which trust account it is, which date you want to close it on, is at the end of the financial year, and select the reports that they would like. And then they just click close period. Property Tree will automatically generate these reports and email them to the main billing contact within Property Tree within about 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a very, very streamlined, very, very efficient process. Additionally, if you need to, you can also provide auditors with read-only access. So if your auditor is located in another state or another country even, they can log in remotely from wherever they are, download whatever reports that they would like, and conduct their audit that way. And again, that's one of the reasons why we're recommended by most auditors, because they know Rockend knows trust accounting, and they trust the trust accounting that comes out of Property Tree. Okay. Now, your normal statements and ledgers for any given time period are accessible here, and the transaction reports as well. Now, the last section here is what we call management reports. Now, these give you the ability to check the KPIs of each different user or each different portfolio within the system. So if you want to check and see how each user within the system is meeting their quota, you can check this from the statistics report. So this gives your head of office or head of department the ability to double check how the progress is within the business. Gain and loss management, again, a similar report, and then monthly revenue as well. So it shows you a breakdown. For example, I'll show you, this shows me that the majority of my fees come from management fees, and then a small percentage from administration fees. And then lastly, of course, is an information audit. So a big question for a lot of our customers or a lot of people within property management is the security of the system. Now, Property Tree is hosted with Microsoft Azure. We did quite a lot of extensive research before we signed up with them. So there are a number of different providers like Amazon, but Microsoft Azure currently has the most secure cloud-based service in the world. Most government authorities or banks host with Microsoft Azure. So we've won awards for the security for Property Tree with the servers. So Property Tree is very, very secure. And in 8 years, we have not had any breaches of data to date. So every 3 minutes, the data on Property Tree is backed up to multiple servers around the world. So even if there's a natural disaster in one of those locations and the server is wiped out, your data is still accessible through any of the other servers. So there's no interruption of service.
That's part of being part of the cloud, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's the whole point of being a cloud-based software.
Yes. But from my understanding, servers like Amazon and such, they have a single server in places and they have had issues with fires and so on in the past as well. Microsoft, it just depends on which host you're using pretty much. So within the system also, we have internal security. So the information audit that I'm pointing to right here gives you the ability to double check what each and every user within the system has done within the system. If they've made changes, if they've pulled up reports, if they've done anything within the system, it will be logged into the information audit. So that gives you, as the manager of the business, to make sure that nobody's conducting fraudulent activities and also to make sure that nothing was done incorrectly. Okay?
That's very good.
Pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Cool. So now just down to the last page, which is the configuration. So as I mentioned, you can have as many trust accounts within the one system as you need. You can also have as many users in the system as you would like. So there are different security levels, which limit the amount of financial data that any user can pull out of the system, just to make sure that your receptionist doesn't have access to all of your financial data. If they leave the company, they can pull it out. That would be a problem. So the user management allows you to filter exactly what security level they have. Obviously, you can put in your own company branding so that it will be attached to any outgoing communications. And we do have the ability to do commercial property management as well within the optional features. Now, Property Tree also allows you to automatically plan inspections. So for property managers, you have to put in your initial inspection usually 3 months after the lease has started, and then every subsequent inspection has to be 6 months. For South Australia, I think it's every 6 months, so every 3 months. So it just depends on how you want to do that. So you're able to put in this, I want to have it planned 12 weeks after the lease has started, and that way it'll plan it for that day of the week rather than for that date of the month, which could fall on a Saturday and Sunday. And then you can plan the subsequent ones as well. And because we have the integration with multiple inspection applications, it'll push through the date and times to that application, and you can save the report from those applications back to Property Tree as well. As I mentioned, the groups and tags, this gives you the ability to filter your properties, your tenants, your owners, as much as you can think of. So if you can think of a particular way to group and tag, go for it. The sky's the limit. And then we come to one of the biggest time savers within the system, which is the automated communications. So one of the biggest bugbears for a lot of property management agencies is having to chase up their tenants for arrears, so if they haven't paid. So instead of the property managers having to do that, Property Tree will automatically send out the arrears notifications for you. So there's no more pulling up
Well,
reports.
how does the letter work though?
Okay.
How does the letter work? Because email is straightforward, but how does letter work? You mean you generate a letter and you print it out and you send it off, or what?
Yeah. So if it's a letter notice, it will email them to the user or the main billing contact, and they can print it out. Now, the good thing
Yep.
about the letters is it automatically pre-populates the address and contact details in the correct place. So if you fold up that piece of paper and put it in the envelope, the address will be in the correct area for you.
Mm.
So
Okay, that's very good.
yeah, for the arrears notifications, you can either send it by email, by SMS, or by letter. So if you want to have it
How
sent out
much?
by,
Yep.
go ahead.
How much is the cost of your SMS? I remember the last time I looked at the SMS cost, it's quite high. I think it's about 20 cents an SMS.
Yeah, so it's actually a lot cheaper nowadays. It's
Oh,
$2.95 for the line rental per month, and then 16 cents an
yep.
SMS.
That's still I can get cheaper myself, but
Good, understood.
not within the system like this.
Yeah, so what we're
Uh,
trying to do is we're in discussions with our provider to make it a fixed payment each month for unlimited numbers of SMSs, which is what most providers do nowadays. So we're currently in discussions to have that applied to Property Tree.
in that case, I should write it down as a feature that's coming up.
Yeah, so currently there is the existing pricing system, but the ability to pay a single fee per month and have unlimited SMSs is coming in the future as well.
That's
So
very good.
okay.
Then
Go
no
ahead.
complaints.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very cheap to send an SMS.
Correct. And especially nowadays, everybody sends things by SMSs, emails. A lot of people don't read them, so it's the way of the future. So basically, what happens is 6:01 p.m. Whatever state you're in, it will automatically send out all of the emails and SMSs. For the letters, it'll send them to you about 4 or 5 o'clock, so that you can print them and mail them out if you want to.
Is the time that you're referring to dictated by a time zone, or or just using a single time zone Eastern States?
It's each separate time zone.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
it's
because it
5
wouldn't
o'clock,
write
4,
this.
5, and 6.
Yeah, so it would be 6:01 p.m. for the emails and SMSs, and about 4 p.m. for the letters. So
Okay.
that gives you the entire day to receipt the rent if that person is paid. And then, of course, if they haven't paid, they need the arrears notification. It'll send that for them. Additionally, if you're invoicing a tenant for water or for anything like that, it'll send them out on overdue invoice notices as well. Now, with regards to the commercial side of Property Tree, it will automatically send out a rent and budgeted outgoings invoice 2 weeks before the tenant is due to pay. So again, it's a lot less admin work that the property manager has to do. As I mentioned, every time you create a tenancy invoice or receipt, it will automatically send out a copy for you. Same thing for the sales side. Every time you create a buyer receipt or vendor receipt, it will automatically send out a copy. Ownership statement, income and expenditure reports are automatically sent. And as I showed you earlier with the maintenance, owner approval, quote requests, and work orders are all automatically sent as well. Additionally, we do also have automatic inspection notices that are sent out from the system as well. So, for example, you can send out a proposed date for when you want to have the inspection. You can send a tentative, or you can send out a confirmed. So for a couple of the states, it's mandatory that you give them a proposed date, and they have to confirm when it's happening. For a couple of the other states, you can just send them a date and time. Hey, I'm coming at this time, and they have to say yes. So it just depends on the legislation. The good thing about the system is depending on which state you're logging in from and which state it's registered for, it will be legislatively compliant no matter which state it is. Okay. So just back to configuration. So you can create as many mail merge templates within the system as you'd like. The mail merge fields are all preset. All you have to do is put them wherever you want them. Okay. And you can do that for SMSs as well. Now, one of the things that we understand from a lot of agencies is, especially when you grow bigger, you run the risk of people forgetting to charge your fees. So if you charge a management fee, inspection fee, and so on, sometimes people can forget to
Mhm.
charge them because they're just so busy with other things. Now, instead of different agencies losing profits, Property Tree automatically automates the fee process in the back end. So when you set up Property Tree, you can set up any number of
Mhm.
fees that you would like. So I know that different owners are charged different fees. Some of them are charged 4%, 5%, 6%, depending on the agency agreement. So you can put in as many different fee
Mhm.
types as you like, and then you can apply them to whichever owners, properties, and tenants that they are applicable for. Now, as you can see, each of these has an event, right? Now, what this event means is whenever this event occurs, it will automatically charge that fee for you. So for example, management fees, as
Mhm.
soon as you receive rent, it'll automatically charge that fee. Inspections, whenever they're closed, it'll automatically charge that fee for you. So again, you don't lose profit for your business and you make sure all your fees are charged. Same thing for your sales commissions as well. So just back
Mhm.
to the configuration page. As I mentioned, we have a number of existing integrations within the system. So we have MailChimp, which is bulk emailing and
Mhm.
advertising, Zero for your general accounting, 5 different inspection applications, REI forms for pretty much every state. We are building out
Mhm.
integrations for, as I mentioned, utilities, for CRMs, for insurance, for basically anything that you need as a property manager or a real estate company.
I have a question about integrations.
Yep.
Okay, I noticed you only have zero, but I think okay, zero is probably the most popular and widespread and powerful one in the market now. But
Yep.
another one that's really good, I
MYOB,
believe, is called QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, so QuickBooks and MYOB are the other two systems that most people use.
Yeah.
MYOB, only a small percentage of people use it cloud-based, and QuickBooks,
Hmm.
it is a very small percentage of real estate agencies that actually use it. So depending on the popularity,
So,
if enough people say, hey, we're using this, can you integrate? We will build out the integration for them.
oh, okay, okay, that's good. But zero is the most popular in the real estate
Yes,
industry.
correct. So 75% of real
Okay.
estate agencies use Zero.
Just wondering, has your company considered integrating with something like a third-party integrator like Zapier? Do you know what
There are,
Zapier is?
I've never heard of it actually. What is it?
It's basically a third-party integrator. Basically, it has lots and lots of apps, web apps, and programs that in their database in their library. And what it does is that on the trigger of a certain event, you can trigger another event in a separate uh, app. So
Uh-huh.
basically, it's integrating one app with another,
Yeah.
and it's because it's third party. As long as they develop recipes and integrations themselves, you can integrate with lots and lots of stuff easily. If you Google right now and click Zapier and look for Zapier, which is
Yeah.
ZAPI, yeah,
Yeah.
you know that it's it can integrate lots of things together. So rather than having to directly integrate everything manually, which
Yeah.
is what you probably did with Zero Mailchimp, what you could do is that have an API or whatever or whatever arrangement with Zapier,
So
and
Property Tree has actually been built with its own open API. So it's been
okay,
built
that's
as a
fine. But
platform to be
I,
able to integrate with whatever it is quite easily. The foundation has
that
been built for being able to scale it for as many different programs as possible. So what I'll do is
yeah,
I'll bring up Zapier to our product development team and see if that's something that they
have a
can
look.
consider to make things a bit easier for them. But I know that
Yeah,
the
because
open API is built in the system as well.
yeah, but Zapier is probably the most popular third-party integration app that I've seen. I used to integrate it with Zoho CRM
Uh-huh.
and and Twilio, which gave me the ability to do SMS. So
Yeah,
basically, that's
so
why
our
I
provider
know
for
that
SMSs is
the thing
actually
you said.
Twilio.
No, no, I know that you have a provider for SMS,
No,
but
no, no,
I'm
it's
saying
Twilio.
that
I just know
with
because you
Zapier you
mentioned the
can
name, I thought
connect.
I'd let you know.
Sorry,
Because you mentioned
I
that
didn't quite
you're
catch what you
familiar
said.
with Twilio, the SMS provider within the system is actually Twilio. Just side thought. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah,
But how come your actually 12 cents might be right. I think it could cost 12 cents if I remember correctly.
yeah,
I don't use Twilio anymore, but yeah yeah, I think it's cheaper than before though. Before you were about 25 cents.
yeah. So it used to be
Uh
24.5, 25 cents per SMS. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll bring Zapier to our product development team and tell them, hey, why don't you have a look
yeah,
at this and see if that's something that'll help. So thank you for the suggestion for that.
no problem. Again, it's spelled Zapier.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Sure. So one of the things that we pride ourselves on is support. So Property Tree, I mean, we
Yep.
have our own devoted support team, which means that you can call into Rockend or Property Tree and get somebody to talk to immediately, or you can send an email or
Yep.
send an live chat with them. Additionally, outside of that, we also have the need help on the far right. Now, this is like a knowledge base, which is step-by-step articles on the different processes within Property Tree. There's also a video library that has step-by-step videos to show you exactly how to use the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can live chat directly to our support team
Mm-hmm.
from here. The other part of this is the suggested improvements.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who uses Property Tree is able to put through a suggestion, and then other users can vote on it. And depending on what has the most votes, we'll add it into our development queue. So the
Mm-hmm.
last thing that I'll probably show you is just the document storage within Property Tree. So especially nowadays, nobody wants to have to carry around external hard drives. Everything is cloud-based storage. So within each and every one of the profiles, there is unlimited document storage down at the bottom as well. So you can put in images, documents, whatever it is that you need, and that way, no matter where you're located, you can actually pull them up. So one of our customers, a couple of our customers actually sent us an email a while back saying, "Hey, thanks. We just conducted our end of month while we're on holiday in Bali. We just accessed whatever we need when somebody called us when we were away for a conference." So this is truly giving the ability to be flexible and access it no matter where you are.
Mm.
Okay. Any other questions
Okay.
that you have?
No, not really. Not
Okay.
really, but it's really looking very good.
Hmm.
And I'm surprised. I'm surprised it used Twilio as well.
Yeah.
But it's Twilio is a good service though. I've used it before.
Yeah.
I've also used it for phone bridge.
Okay.
So basically, I can make phone calls from my computer.
Yeah.
Do you think
So
that? I don't think. I'm not sure whether that'd be useful for you though. If to have a phone bridge, it
Um,
might not.
it may, so the idea being that ideal utopia for Property Tree is that everything that you need is within the one program. So emails go out, they can also come back in. Currently, they can't come back into the system, but that's something that we're building. So this will move you away from using Outlook, from using Gmail, from using
Gmail.
pretty much any other system to send messages and such, because you can do that from within
Mm-hmm.
Property Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that eventually they'll try and build in a call system, sort of phone bridge as well into Property Tree, so you can just make calls directly from the
Mm-hmm.
system as well.
Yeah, it'd be the same number. So
Yeah,
if people are managing it, then they just pick up.
yeah, correct.
Mm.
Alrighty. So,
Okay.
what I'll do is I'll verify with Tom if you can post the video. I'll send you over a
If I
copy of the
can't,
video
don't worry
shortly.
about it. But I need this video anyway
Yeah.
because I need to go through it and create the blog post.
Okay.
I think most likely I have to overhaul the whole thing because
Yeah.
if it looks completely different, all the old pictures are not going to be relevant anymore because
Sure.
yeah. So I do think I need to overhaul the entire thing.
Okay.
But I if I can't post the video, that's fine. But I
Yeah.
need the video anyway because I need to. It's easier to look at the video than make notes.